Okay, we'll go ahead and call to order the meeting of the Sanford City Commission work session for Monday, August 11th, 2025. Commissioner Britton and Austin will not be attending the work session, but will be at the 7 o'clock meeting. So our first item is the second floor renovations. Mr. Bonaparte.
Yes, Mr. Mayor, members of the City Commission, the Assistant City Manager, Craig Ratzek, will make a presentation on how we are looking to revise and renovate the second floor of City Hall.
Thank you, Mr. City Manager. Good afternoon, Mayor, City Commissioners. During the July City Commission budget work session, some questions came up about the second floor renovations. About 2 weeks ago, I sent you the floor plan by email. There also should be some copies in your books, and then Chris has it pulled up on the projector there. So what I'll do is start with a little background, and then I'll briefly go through the floor plan that we have proposed. A few months back, probably in January, February, we had a meeting to conduct a needs assessment with the department directors on what their needs are for City Hall. And you can see most of the changes are on the south side of the second floor City Hall renovations. We tried to do it in-house, but we quickly found out that we needed some professional help with some design services. So we hired Forefront, and Mr. Leonard Davis is back in the back. He'll raise his hand. And then ZHA helped us with the project design overview, and he's with ZHA. Robert Utsey's here as well. And we've been working on this for the past few months, and they've been really helping us keep us on track with this. So that's what we decided to do, and I'll just start by going through the upstairs. When you come upstairs on the elevator on the left, where building division currently sits now, which, as you know, they'll be coming downstairs to the breezeway probably in the next couple months. So that area right there will be vacated, and we're proposing the most visited departments by the public will be closest to the elevator. So we decided Lahib and CDBG they have quite an area where they get a lot of customers. So what are the needs of those? They wanted an increased waiting room because sometimes some of their waiting area currently, it bleeds into planning across the way. So we identified that as an issue, and we wanted it closed in so we could have some privacy from the hallway. So we decided to add the waiting area. They also asked for a private room, which is next to the offices there, to talk about personal financial information with staff. And then they have an open counter area and also some offices in the back. And adjacent to Lahib and CDBG is fire. Currently, fire inspectors, 4 of them share the same office space, which can be a little distracting to them if they're on phone calls or doing that. So we decided to give them a few more office space so some of the inspectors that do plans review can have some concentration, quiet time to do those plans review. Although a couple of the inspectors are going to share an office, but mostly they're out in the field doing inspections, but a couple of them do plans review, so we provided a couple office spaces with them. And then moving down the hall, and you'll notice a common theme for some of the, yes.
Let me interrupt for a minute.
Yes.
So I understand the red bubbles.
Yes.
Are the solid lines are new walls, or is this not the plan? What am I really looking at?
Yeah, new walls. And then those are doorways, openings if you zoom in. And then some of the shaded areas or dotted lines are windows, right, Leonard? Correct. Yes, windows.
So are the gray lines are existing and the black lines are new?
Right, the black are new, the gray is existing.
All right, thank you.
Okay.
But can you stay zoomed in?
Well, actually, I think what I want to do is...
Well, we could do, Chris, is just when I talk about each department, we could zoom in for each department and then move along, if that works for you guys. I don't know if you guys want to see
I'd go back to the one that matches what we have.
Okay.
I'm saying.
Yeah. I can't read it.
I think Chris is going to zoom in on the... So, as we know, go ahead, Mayor. Did you have a question? Okay, all right. So what we decided to do on some of these departments is, especially development services and human resources and finance and city manager, there's a common theme with security and still being available for the public. During our employee survey, we scored low in employee safety and security. So we're kind of modeling after the planning division's counter they have there, the secure door with a counter, but still accessible to the public. So we're trying to mirror that with the other departments. And development services does that to a certain extent now, but we're going to improve that area. And all the community code enforcement officers, as well as the admin and supervisor, are all going to be in the development services area right there. And the director is going to stay put, along with the permitting and manager as well. So that area is going to pretty much stay where it is. Moving down to human resources, first thing we're going to do is move that counter up towards the hallway a little bit and allow more space for the employees to work. and also provide that safety and security with the counter and the door. And one of the real needs that human resources need was a conference room or a private area for confidential employment matters. So we're having that shared conference room that all city employees can use that. We have a great need for conference room space right now and meeting room space in City Hall. We only have 2, and it's a hard time to get a meeting space sometimes. So the other areas are pretty much remaining the same. We do have some storage issues in human resources, but I think Sharon is working on that, because the office on the right as you walk into human resources is full of our safety luncheons, employee appreciation, all the stuff that we provide. So we're gonna, if we want to turn that into an office, we're gonna have to deal with some of those storage issues. And then if we move down to IT.
Before you leave HR,
Pardon me?
before you leave HR,
Yeah.
so does this plan anticipate less of a need for storage because we're going digital?
I think we're working on that. Is Sharon here?
Go ahead, I can hear you from there. Okay. Okay, thanks.
Well, and didn't we approve a new person in HR?
Mhm.
Does this accommodate them?
Yeah, that's the area that I'm talking about with the storage, would be office, but we need to do something. We need to look at offsite storage or do something with the storage that's in that room, or some digital files too. So, and that's not common. That's common throughout all departments. In IT, we have major storage issues. I don't know if you've been back there lately, but we got some stuff we got to declare surplus or get offsite storage or something. If we want to provide more office space, we're going to have to deal with the storage problems that we have.
And we may even have storage here in the city buildings if we're addressing that too, looking for that too. Hopefully we can just do it within our.
So we're doing what we need to do as far as the record retention rules go, but getting rid of everything else so we have space.
All right. How's that sound? Let me be closer.
Good.
Okay. Okay, information, IT, same kind of concepts when you enter through the doors like it is now, employee friendly, where employees can go in there, open area where you have the help desk technicians and seating for the employees where they wait for their phones or their laptops to be done, providing a lot more office space. We used to have an IT training room back there, and I walked back there months ago and found out it's just a bunch of offices, so we're going to keep the offices there. The major change is another conference room to IT that will be shared with finance, IT, and other city departments right there. And we're really sensitive about insulating that conference room because the storage room is, or the server room is right next door, which is very loud. So we're going to have to work on some insulation, and that's another thing we can't move. Some of the critical infrastructure, there's also an extinguishing system there we can't move, and also a mini transformer that's adjacent to that conference room. So we're going to have to work around that. But you can see the other offices that we added. Moving down to finance, there's some major changes in finance. That's the ones that we had a real need for finance on, creating more office space. Now, right now we have offices within offices, a bunch of partition walls and offices. So we're working on a hallway, more office space. Chris, go down. Same concept with the admin in the hallway with that counter and a door there to provide security. So that'll be the greeting area with finance. Finance doesn't get a lot of external customers, more internal customers. So we think we did all right there in the store, in the office space. It's mostly office space, and we're looking for individual offices so the accountants can concentrate on their work and not getting interrupted by phone calls or whatever, and then the employee has to listen to the other employee talk on the phone or typing on the computer or what have you. And then the area across the way from the city manager's office, we've added some positions in the city manager's office with the digital media specialist and then with the performance manager. So we're adding that, and the city attorney is right there, closest to the hallway where Chris's pointer is. So we added a couple offices there. Same concept, there's going to be a wall, a counter with a door to provide security there. And then Lisa Holder's office, she wanted a closet for some storage for the items that are back here in the commission chambers to put in her office. I think we're working on trying to get this cleaned out for future use. And a very minor change to the clerk's office, we're just going to move her door to the hallway. So she has that same secure door, and that'll provide an office space to where the door is currently leading in now. And then the place where Eddie's offices is right now, we're going to turn that into finance offices. And planning has a couple minor changes is with the planning engineer right now and the planning inspector, and a doorway for the historic preservation officer so she could have some privacy during her conference calls and not interrupted by, they have a conference room in the planning room that's called the visioning room, but sometimes that bleeds into her office and it's distracting, so we're trying to accommodate that too. So that's really it in a nutshell, and that's what we're planning on doing. We're about 100% done with plans. We're ready for construction documents. So I think ZHA is doing the final review on that. If we have construction documents, we could probably put this out to bid. And I may be a little ambitious, but maybe we can get a construction contract for early 2026, starting work then. So by the time we get done with the Breezeway project, we'll start another project. So we're trying to determine, and the construction manager and ZHA and maybe some post-design from Forefront will help us with a plan. We're going to have to do it in phases because obviously it's going to be distracting to the employees. We're going to try to plan after-hours work, weekend work. Of course, with that, the price increases when you start making demands on that, but we have to accommodate the employees on this, and we could do it in phases. So we'll have to work that out when we get a construction contract and work, and then we give give the department directors some discretion with their employees on working remotely or whatever. So we'll have to work all that out. We can, but we still have to serve the public, so that's our goal here. We're thinking it's probably going to take about 8 months to complete the work. That's what we're hearing. So we hope it'll be a good project. So, any questions for
Questions?
us?
I don't think this is about a change, but I've been wondering if the servers are in this building, and they are. So IT has the servers in their department. Do they have different temperature controls in there?
I think yes.
Yes. Okay, but there's not a change to that particular area, so no impact to this.
Not really, other than that access.
Mhm.
Very-
Okay.
Should be very, just non-destructive too much as far as the server goes.
All
But
right.
they have to have their standalone with the backup generator as well.
Yeah.
So if the building goes down, they're automatically.
Okay, so all this change of going around there is not going to impact the
That's the
servers.
goal.
Fingers crossed.
We intend to have somebody here to help with logistics and fumes and disruption,
Yeah.
and limit it as possible.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
Any other questions? All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, Mayor, next on the agenda is a presentation from the city attorney about speaker identification during public comment.
Good
Ms.
evening,
Green.
Mayor and members of the commission. Commissioner Thomas expressed not even concern, but just questions as to how the procedures we have moving forward as it relates to those who wish to speak at the podium having to first identify themselves by name and address, and whether our procedures are in compliance with the law, if those procedures can be improved, what statistically is occurring with regard to other municipalities. Based upon my research, most municipalities do have people identify themselves by name and address. Now, there are a number of cases that say if you require it and prohibit people from speaking if they don't disclose either their name, address, et cetera, that could be a First Amendment violation because you are imposing a chilling effect on that speech. I believe that our procedures do not create that chilling effect. If you look at the rule, including when individuals come to sign in, it says you should identify yourself and by name and address, but it does not designate it as a requirement. So I believe that the city really poses a very good balance. Also, pursuant to Chapter 119, we want to make sure that we have a record as to who is presenting comments, identifying themselves for that purpose. So it also satisfies the requirements of Chapter 19 to at least request that people identify themselves and give an address. I'm open to suggestions to the board if there's any ways that you think you want to improve this process, but it is definitely legally sound, in my opinion, based upon, A, the law 286.0114, which says people have the right to be heard, and then 2, Chapter 119, that allows for and requires the city to maintain an accurate record as to what has been transpiring during these meetings.
Thanks, Attorney Green. I appreciate that, obviously. And I want to make this as easy as possible for the mayor so that he knows what to ask when they do come up to the podium. You know, without making it complicated for him, if they fill out a form, I mean, I don't want you to have to say, did you, well, you're going to know if they filled out a form.
Yeah, I have the form, and I called them by name, otherwise
Yeah, you call them by name, you have the
Yeah, have
form
them
in
come
front
up.
of you. So you've got the form in front of you. You know whether or not they put their address on there. So if they didn't happen to put their address, you could ask, would you like to state your name and address, or at least your name? You know, some way that we're following the law. It sounds like we do have a good balance. I appreciate that. We're
It
not,
also accounts for people who sometimes don't fill out a card, but
Right.
then find themselves at the podium. So it creates this automatic discussion as to please state your name and address to make sure that we've covered that for the record.
Because what I say at the beginning of the meeting is we will request that you give us your name and address. I don't say you have to.
and they probably don't even
They probably don't
notice
notice
that you're
that.
saying request versus
And it's a
require.
creature of habit, anyone who attends these type of board meetings regularly to announce their name and address. But again, from a legal perspective, we strike that balance of not, there were some cases where municipalities were requiring it. And so that can present a chilling effect. We don't do that in the city. If there's anything else, again, if there's anything else that you think we need to do or that you want to do to make the process more citizen-friendly, then I can research that as well.
Yeah, and I'm probably speaking just for a minority of people who might come up there and feel like they have to give their address, and maybe they're uncomfortable doing so because they didn't hear the request or they assume that it's a requirement. They're going to do it anyway just to not get in trouble. But is it possible they're passing along to their friends, you should go talk to them, but by the way, they're going to ask you for your address. And, again, it might be a minority. Most people might not care, but just trying to represent everybody.
Hopefully, the discussion that we've had this evening has clarified that issue for many people, so I appreciate you bringing
Right.
it forward so that at least there's some education and people are aware as to what the requirements are and that people feel more comfortable expressing their thoughts and concerns before these meetings because we've had this discussion.
So Attorney, what if a person comes up and says, I want to speak but doesn't want to give their name?
I would say, go
Just
ahead
let
and
them,
speak.
right, go ahead and allow them to speak anyway. Sometimes you'll get that person who just wants to do that, but you don't want to not receive the comment. You do not want to prohibit someone the opportunity to be heard. You don't want to have any chilling effect on speech, which, again, if someone is adamant about that, I would say allow the comments regardless.
Okay.
Yeah, because if they feel strongly enough about something to speak, but have a similar fear about identification to everybody, we should respect that.
Yeah.
It won't be that often it happens, and again, the majority will just come in, they'll be fine, there won't be a problem, and I appreciate you doing the research, because the people who might care enough about city government to come to these meetings or listen on YouTube, hopefully will be hearing this, or will hear about it from somebody that
Absolutely.
we respect that. Thank you, Attorney
You're
Green.
welcome.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Right. Any regular meeting items?
Staff talk.
Any briefing items?
After we saw.
Any city manager comments?
The only comment, and I will make it again because of missing two, this morning, the city Human Resource Risk Manager Director sent to the commission about the city manager's evaluation, asking that it be turned in by the 25th of August. I plan to get to you by the the 17th. My response in terms of what the progress is on those items, and then we'll go from there.
Okay, and I wanted to double check because I wasn't sure that we had said we were going to turn them in August. I thought it was that we wanted them completed by September so they were ready for the first meeting in October. And since we're missing two commissioners, maybe we should have that conversation. And I know we discussed this before, and I may be misremembering. But I thought
that
we
does
wanted to
sound
put them out
familiar.
earlier, but have them due as close to October 1 as possible.
So that we are evaluating that full year, or as close to the full year as possible.
All right.
Keeping
I mean,
in
I was-
mind, you gave the manager the directions 2 months ago,
Right.
the goals, I should say.
Well, I know my plan was to start on it soon, but have that discretion to continue working on it up to the last allowable second, so that it does cover.
So,
By point of reference to Commissioner Thomas, there have been times when it has gone into February.
I mean, there have been times we haven't gotten them until January. And that's what I'm trying to avoid.
Well, that's not going to happen this year. And don't save all of your little mistakes, Mr. Bonaparte, until October.
So if they were due, and again, we need to talk about this again tonight anyway.
Yeah.
But if they were due the second meeting in September, which is the 22nd, there are 2 Mondays before the next meeting. There's an extra week before the next meeting. Would we be able to do the discussion on the 13th?
13th is the first meeting,
Yeah.
September.
First meeting of October. Is that
October.
reasonable?
13th of
I
October.
mean, that still puts us 2 months ahead of last year.
I'd call that progress.
Okay. All right. So let's talk about that tonight.
Okay,
Okay.
good.
Okay. All right. Anything else?
Nope.
All right. I wanted to bring up something. I want to ask Eileen to come forward since we have a little time. And it's about Senate Bill 180.
Oh.
I think the attorney has had some conversations with the city manager. I got an email, and I would have to go back and look and see who it is that's doing a lawsuit and is asking other cities and counties to join in. The email I got said it was a $10,000 request to join the lawsuit. And Eileen has gotten some requests for some information from what organization?
The APA, the American Planning Association.
About what things we are running into. And she wanted some direction on whether we want her staff to respond to that. And I wanted to judge whether we felt like we should join the lawsuit against Senate Bill 180. So which one of y'all wants to go first?
Eileen, feel free to get started.
Okay, so we, as a planning staff, have received emails from, right now, only the APA, American Planning Association, regarding requests for information as to actual impacts that we've encountered or are in the process of encountering in what this Senate bill will do to us. I've talked to staff, and some of the things that immediately come to mind for us would be things like updating our land development regulations on stuff that this commission has directed us to do, as well as things that we're trying to do from a perspective of, trying to make this squeaking stop, from the perspective of moving forward with better regulations. We can't create the overlay district the way we want to for the airport because that creates more restrictive regulations. The overlay district we're trying to do in the historic Goldsboro to make it easier for them to develop, but in order to do that, there's trade-offs that probably will be seen as more difficult. We can't update things like our permitted uses schedule, because if we break out certain uses, it may seem like we're making this more restrictive than this, and so that makes a challenge. It's hard to adapt to current trends when we can't change definitions. Some of the other things are our comprehensive plan. We need to update based on Florida statute, I think it's 163-3202, relating to the land development regulations and the comprehensive plan, and updates relating to seasonal or periodic flooding, drainage, stormwater management, as well as the requirements to do adequate utility and other government services requiring spending on the part of the developers to keep up with impacts that their actual developments are making. So none of these are in the code, but since our comprehensive plan has to now relate for a 10 to 20 year growth pattern, we have to make sure that there's stuff in there that allows us to make that happen. And all of these are going to be impacted, and these were just surface things that we thought of. So since we're getting requests for input, I just want to make sure that the commission is aware that we as staff would like to reply to these, not necessarily standing as this is the city's perspective, but more, these are the problems we're encountering. And I didn't want to overstep and have our staff submit all these requirements and these things that we're running into without letting the commission know that we plan to do these feedback statements. So unless you have issues or questions, that's kind of where we're standing on that.
I'm happy to hear this. And if everything that you're looking at is definitive enough that we can go back with real facts and real impacts, then I would wholeheartedly support doing that.
Okay, so we're assuming, right now it's only APA, but frequently on things like this, we get stuff from Thousand Friends of Florida and some of the other groups that try to defend home rule
I
as
think
well as
they've come to all of
environment
us.
at the state, right. So if we get those, I just want to make sure that the commission knows that we as staff will likely reply to them not taking a stance from a city's perspective, as the commission said, but just how it's impacting us in our planning department.
And to that extent, so a week and a half ago, I participated in the Florida Municipal Attorneys Association Conference in South Florida. It's a 3-day conference. The general view is that SB 180 is going to have a severely negative impact as it relates to planning for local municipalities. I have a meeting also set up with some other sister municipalities to talk about whether this would be a good idea for the city to participate in litigation. Ultimately, I think the work that Eileen and the planning department is about to do and will be doing in responding to these requests will help us to make the determination as to whether the city should move forward and participate in this litigation.
So tell me about deadlines and costs for the litigation.
There are various groups that are getting together and having those initial discussions. So as far as cost, et cetera, I'm not there yet.
Okay.
But as to the initial discussions, as to groups getting together to envision or consider litigation, that has come up. It has come up most recently, and it is something that I'm reviewing for the city.
And I was looking for the email, and now I think it was not an email. It may have been an article in the Orlando Sentinel
Okay.
that talked about a county that was starting and asking others to join in. So I'll have to figure out where I got that from.
Okay.
And I'll forward Mayor and the City Commission the email that I received as well, so that you're aware of the inquiries that I'm receiving with regard to this litigation.
And I got one from 1,000 Friends.
I got that one
That
too.
we all probably got. You got that? Okay.
I mean, the whole thing seems to be a disaster.
Mm-hmm.
To say it
Yeah.
lightly.
One we should push back against. And I'll let you all know if I hear anything about this at the annual conference of the League of Cities as well.
All right. So then we are more than comfortable with our staff forwarding any information they deem necessary.
To assist in the correction of some of the negative impacts that we may and will and expect to see from Senate Bill 180.
Well, the reason why they're seeking this input is because the litigation is going to be data-driven. And in order to determine whether, in fact, it has this widespread impact, they're needing this data from local municipalities. Once you complete, Eileen, your assessment, then you and I can meet to talk about it, and then that will better assist me in advising as to where we go forward from here.
Right. The only reason I wanted to bring it forth to this is the APA one that they're asking for is feedback no later than the 22nd, and we don't have another commission meeting between now and then. But I anticipate we may receive something from the Regional Planning Council. We may receive something from 1,000 Friends of Florida to actually solicit our feedback. So if we have those, at least I wanted to make sure that the commission knew we were working on these lists. So.
I think our response is in good hands.
Thank you.
Thank you, Lane.
Any other questions?
Anything else?
We had the public meeting as to the fire assessment, which was decently attended. Mayor was there. I was present as well as Mr. Burton to answer questions from residents. And so those questions were answered, which is a positive.
We had some interesting conversations on Facebook this weekend. I don't know if anybody saw those.
Yes.
And Channel 6 interviewed me just before the meeting about it.
Let me just say, I'm glad that our mayor was there to answer questions pretty clearly that came up. Phew, and Attorney Green.
Okay, anything?
No.
I think I might want to do one double check with, Brad's not here, Pam's not here. Brady.
Oh, Brady.
Who can tell me what the status of Ford's garage is? Anybody? Nope. We'll wait till tonight. Oh, but she just went all the way down there and sat there.
I've looked through all of their submittals, and best I can tell, it's on them, not us.
Well, I kind of was thinking that, so maybe just confirm.
Contractors, a change in plans.
Change in something.
It's on them. They have the appropriate permits to move forward. They're just moving very slowly. But we're, whenever they call for inspections, we're keeping an eye on the site, making sure that they meet their, stormwater requirements and such, and I'm sure building is doing the same whenever they, call for an inspection.
Yeah. It's kind of unfortunate that they started and then stopped versus getting all their ducks in a row and then starting.
They almost didn't start. They almost passed their expiration date, and then we told them what would happen if it expired, and they'd have to start over. So then they moved forward, but they did not necessarily move forward at a very quick rate.
Okay.
So, but they are.
So it's not dead, it's just slow.
It's just slow as far as we can tell.
Okay.
I mean, they're pretty far out of the ground for it to, stop now.
Yeah.
So we would anticipate just slow movement going forward.
All right, anything else?
No.
Anything, Commissioner Rickman? All right. Board appointments?
Yes, I was going to bring that up tonight at the meeting.
I'm trying to, since we got time, I'm trying to get things done now.
I plan to have those openings to you at the next meeting, and who's expiring and who can continue.
Okay, so we'll go with the same process. We'll look at who is eligible to be reappointed
Right.
first, and then decide what openings there actually are
Yeah,
before we advertise.
Right.
Okay. All right. Okay, unless anybody has anything else, we are adjourned.
We're adjourned.
Get church for you.
I got it.
Which is Methodist?
Is it,
First Methodist?
Calculations anyway?
Hey, Sharon.